2 years before the Battle of Yavin, the creature known only as the Bendu first appears on the planet Attilan in the show Star Wars Rebels. The planet Attilan is in the Lothal sector in the Outer Rim territories. The Bendu is a Force-sensitive being of unknown species. The Bendu is a creature that possesses extreme attunement to the Force, as evidenced in his first conversation with Kanan. The Bendu states, "Your imbalance woke me from a deep slumber. Your presence is like a violent storm in this quiet world." Despite the Bendu's power in the Force, he is not aligned to either the Ashla or Bogan, the light or the dark side. The Bendu states that he is the one in the middle. The Bendu is an entity that is aligned to maintaining at least personal balance in the Force. He also states the one in the middle is called the Bendu, so the creature may have other names or titles outside this one designation, although the Bendu is what he's generally referred to as. Although one can infer that this is what the Bendu prefers to be called, when asked point-blank advice by Kanan and Ezra, the Bendu responds to each with, "What do you want to do?" This may be another reference to his impartiality or to the nature of sentient beings and that they possess free will. The nature of the Bendu here is similar in that advice given is purposefully introspective for the recipient. This indicates the Bendu's status as a sage in Star Wars Rebels. Kanan's teachings and by effect Ezra's training is directly impacted by the Bendu's wisdom which Kanan receives. Bendu also takes over this role in Season 3 from Yoda, who briefly occupied the sage role in Seasons 1 and 2, respectively. The Bendu met Ahsoka Tano, Kanan Jarrus, Ezra Bridger, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and held conversations with all of these people. Bendu was revealed to be aware of Sabine Wren and Darth Maul and possibly all the people on Chopper Base over the events of Star Wars Rebels Season 3. The Bendu held one such conversation with Ahsoka Tano about the potential change after confronting her former master. Bendu next called Kanan after he had been blinded. Kanan introduced himself to the Bendu, and Kanan explained that his apprentice Ezra Bridger had drifted closer to the dark side by using a Sith holocron. As the Bendu explains to Kanan, an object cannot make you good or evil. The temptation of power, forbidden knowledge, or even the desire to do good can lead some down that path, but only you can change yourself. The Bendu helps Kanan to recover his senses, not through seeing, but by using Kanan's own connection to the Force. When Kanan cites his inability to see as his primary limitation, the Bendu states that Kanan is unwilling. The Bendu taught Kanan to see despite his blindness, using his senses in the Force to understand the emotions and feelings of beings around him. Bendu later hides the Sith holocron in a cave, where Ezra and Kanan mend their relationship while obtaining the holocron. Bendu seemed genuinely happy that master and apprentice had reconciled. Bendu warns Ezra and Kanan that the two holocrons could reveal any secret, but that the knowledge came at the cost of never being able to forget that knowledge. Bendu later assists Ezra and Kanan by commenting on the nature of the two holocrons. Bendu states that joining the holocrons together could bring both great wisdom and great danger. The Bendu then alerts the two of Maul's presence and disappears. Sometime later, the Bendu sees Sabine after training with the Darksaber on Attilan. Grand Admiral Thrawn later attacks Attilan, and Kanan seeks out the Bendu's assistance in fighting the Empire's forces. Bendu takes a hard pass, saying, "You have brought war to my world, and I will have no part in it." Kanan tries to recruit the Bendu in the coming fight against the Empire, but the Bendu remains unconvinced, stating, "I am beyond your worrying and wars. I am unseen, unknowable like a rock in the river. Do you think it chance this world was so difficult to find?" Kanan misses the point that the Bendu keeps repeating, prompting the Bendu's response, "I was here long before you and will be long after. I am the Bendu." Kanan, in his infinitely pesky nature, calls Bendu a coward. The Bendu then creates a storm and levitates after being roasted. The Bendu actually gets a counter roast in, saying that it may have been the will of the Force that the Jedi were destroyed, and the Bendu was to carry out the will of the Force. As the Bendu finishes saying that, he turns into a storm and disappears. The Bendu then destroys Imperial and Rebel forces alike, ordering them to leave immediately like a savage. Thrawn has his forces shoot the Bendu, at which point the Bendu falls and lays on the ground. Thrawn later walks up and asks what kind of creature the Bendu is, which the Bendu responds with, "One beyond your power to destroy." The Bendu then taunts Grand Admiral Thrawn by telling him of his future defeat, like many arms surrounding you in a cold embrace. Thrawn tries to shoot the Bendu, but the Bendu disappears before he is shot. The Bendu then laughs at Thrawn, who looks smug and defeated. Thrawn is finally defeated, as the Bendu says, by many arms of the Purrgil, in Ezra's final plan to defeat the Imperial fleet stationed above Lothal. The Bendu demonstrates that power through the Force has little to do with factions. The Bendu has a prodigious and varied skill set of Force abilities that include, but are not limited to, telekinesis, weather and nature manipulation, accurate prophecy and foresight, perception through emotions, and the ability to appear and disappear on command. The Bendu's rare abilities may be a product of its unique capacity to access the Force from a stable middle ground between the dark and the light. The Bendu occupies an unfamiliar territory, and that is not limited by strict rules or doctrine like the Jedi or the Sith. The Bendu possesses greater than average perspective through his considerable knowledge of the Force. The Bendu may be one way in which the Jedi Order can learn from its past failures, and that a true connection to the Force should be valued above rules or laws that limit and restrict growth. Thank you for staying till the end of the video. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing and leaving a question. Subscribing to this channel helps you stay updated on the content I make and helps me to reinvest into the channel. Questions help me to improve the quality of my content and the quality of my explanations. Thank you for watching, and stay fantastic.